Shedeur Sanders, man, he is a superstar, man, just waiting for his moment. Shedeur Sanders is a superstar, boy. Hey, that boy can throw that football. Let me tell you, it's so pretty coming out of his hand, man, when he throws the football. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's exciting. It's a beautiful.
I want to know what AJ said to him after that tackle, after that hit. But they got up, they got up and looked at each other. They said a little something to each other.
Yeah. You know, they probably just talking crap. You know, two competitors, man, that don't mean no harm, man. You know, they just probably have it a little fun. You know, my son and Coach Prime's son, you know, they have a little fun out there. But hey, on that first touchdown that Shedeur threw, you know, to number 44, Fannin Jr. I think Asante Samuel Jr. was supposed to be back then. He probably was supposed to help out on that play, but it was one of those flicked type throws that, you know, as a defensive back, you can't really track down or understand that it's going to be a completion unless you're elite. You got to be elite with those DB skills, you know what I mean? But the safety, you know, couldn't find the ball. And, you know, 44, the tight end, made a big play. He made a big play. But at the end of the day, this is the biggest slap in face in the history of the National Football League with this whole Shedeur Sanders situation. For as long as I can remember, this is the biggest slap in any player's face in the National Football League. For anyone who still believes Shedeur Sanders isn't a starting quarterback are just plain haters. And I still see people taking shots at Shedeur and trying to bring him down. If you don't believe in Shedeur at this time or see the talent that he has to thrive in the National Football League, you are a plain hater, you know? And from what I see, Shedeur looks like he could have led the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs if he would have been the day one starting quarterback. And that's just my opinion. I really believe that. Yes, he would have had some bumps in the road and some things, the adversity he would have had to overcome. But look what he's doing now, you know? And I'm finally glad to hear Kevin Stefanski, right? Kevin Stefanski. I'm finally glad to hear Kevin Stefanski, you know, speak positive about Shedeur Sanders. And it finally seems like he kind of accepting Shedeur as his quarterback, you know, of the future. And hopefully this is true. And my opinion of how Kevin Stefanski feel of Shedeur is a real thing. But let's hear Kevin Stefanski speak on Shedeur Sanders after a good divisional win and, you know, playing some good football.
He wins, you know, got to win. So that's great for the young man. Gets to beat Pittsburgh, gets to beat a division rival. So they're not going to be easy, not in this division. So proud of him for that. There's always things he can clean up. I thought we got a little unlucky on that first interception. We can certainly learn from the second one, and he will. But yeah, he continued to battle.
Yes, sir. He continued to battle, boy. He continued to battle, Stefanski. And let me tell you, Shedeur has stamped himself, man. Shedeur has stamped himself as quarterback one. I can feel it, man. He has stamped himself as the quarterback number one, the starting quarterback heading into the next season. It's already slated. It's already written in stone, man. It's going to happen.
It is?
It's going to happen.
You think so?
I feel it. And that's why I feel the energy coming from Kevin Stefanski. It's totally different than it was in the beginning of the season when it was all about Dylan Gabriel, you know.
But yeah, they still got another quarterback on their roster, which is
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Yep. What's that situation? Like, that's all confusing to me. Where do you come into play?
Right. The only thing that it stands between Deshaun Watson and the starting job is that money, right? It's all about the money with Deshaun Watson. We're paying him all this money, but if you watch Deshaun Watson and you were coaching Deshaun Watson, you have a sour taste in your mouth about Deshaun Watson. The way Shedeur Sanders is out there throwing that pigskin left and right, you are excited about the future and what you see in him, and you are thinking about the things and how you can build this team around him. If I'm a coach, that's how I'm thinking. I'm thinking about the future, not just for one season, beyond this one season, you know, 3 seasons, 4 seasons, 5 seasons. And Deshaun Watson doesn't fit past one season. Deshaun Watson is a one and done. And if he plays good, if Deshaun Watson goes out there and does well, plays awesome, what does that mean? Now they're going to extend his contract, try to give him an extension and take those chances of everything they just went through? That would make absolutely no sense. So, again, Shedeur Sanders in the perfect situation to succeed. You know what I mean? So, we just got to continue to wait and see, you know. But like I said, Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback next season, right? Heading in the next season, he will be named the starting quarterback. I feel it. I can see it, you know. But if that's not the case, that so happen is not the case, we need the FBI to start an investigation on the Cleveland Browns and Kevin.
Bring the whole FBI in.
Bring the FBI to the NFL and start this investigation because something ain't right. Just something is totally, because if they go in the draft and think the draft is going to bring someone better than Shedeur,
no, they ain't doing that.
Bring the CIA in. Bring the FBI and the CIA. It's double investigation, you know? But Shedeur had a really good game, pretty good game today. Not really good game. It was a pretty good game, minus that one interception. You know, he just threw up for someone to grab, and he want the plant to make a play. He knows the plant. The plant is there. He's not going to make a play. You know, he's not going to make a play unless it's obvious he has to make a play. You know, he already tricked off that one obvious play that went through his hands and he went to the defender, so he can't do that anymore. You know what I mean? And the other interception, Shedeur threw 2 interceptions. The other interception was a tip pass that Shedeur has to get better at. Like I said earlier in this segment, he has to find a way to alter his throwing motion and things like that when these big 6'5", 300-pound, 7-foot wingspan defensive linemen are all up in the face. You understand? But this is the type of game that Aaron that breeds champions, that shows that mentality of a champion, right? The Steelers needed to win to advance to the playoffs, right? And Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns, you know, they are out here playing off straight pride and it's just straight pride basically at this point. There's nothing else to play for, right? And everybody in Ravens Nation pretty much was rooting for Shedeur Sanders hard to win this game and keep their chances alive, to keep the Raven chances alive for the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. A lot was at stake during this game, man. And during this time of the season, period. A lot is at stake. Rival teams are starting to
makes it exciting. It makes it so exciting too, man.
So exciting, you know? And then, like I said, this is the time of season, like, your team can possibly be rooting for the rival team that you hate to death, you know, because you need them to win because your team to get in the playoffs, right? And that's what happened tonight, man, or today for the Cleveland Browns, right? The Baltimore Ravens needed the Cleveland Browns to beat Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers so they can keep their hopes alive, their playoff hopes alive. And guess what, man? Tyler Huntley, man, who was there with Shedeur Sanders at Cleveland for a little while, he put that pressure on Shedeur to win, you know, so they could keep their season alive. And then he wants to play in the playoffs and collect those extra checks. Tyler Huntley reached out to Shedeur, man, and gave him some motivation and gave him a little pep talk and asked him, say, hey, you going to handle business? Because I need you to go out there and win because I want to continue playing. But let's hear from Tyler Huntley.
Teammates, will you watch them at home?
Nah, I'm trying to make it out of here so I can call Shedeur real quick. Yeah, make sure he can get it done. So I'll probably just be, you know, just watching it and get some rest.
Little quick clip.
I had like a missed call from him, and then, or a text, something. I don't know. Then I just called my uncle, like 6:30, called him. I'm like, dang, bro, why are you still up? And he was like, bro, I'm excited, bro. He was excited they just got the win, and he was definitely words of encouragement and stuff from me. But that's just how he is. Like he not just doing that just because it gives them, you know, that's a chance. 100. Now I think the overall person he is and the time that we have spent together, he did nothing but speak life into me, and I truly appreciate him for that.
You know, at the end of the day, man, you know, that's what this NFL life is about, man. Creating this brotherhood. We all are the same, man. We stick together and, you know, we want to help and motivate, encourage each other to do better, you know? And that's what that showed, man. I'm glad that Shedeur Sanders, you know, on a big platform can express that and show the world that we're a brotherhood and we're not just enemies, or you think we're enemies because we compete against each other. No, man, when we off the field, man, it's all good, man. We hang out, it's love and so on and so forth, man. But yeah, I like that dialogue that that creating and that those two fellas have together, man. But you can see that Shedeur saying that's just who Tyler Huntley is, man. He's a Florida boy. He's a happy person, man. Keeps a positive spirit going, and that's what you need in life, man. Especially in the NFL. Boy, you don't have a positive spirit, boy, they'll break you down and tear you down quick. They'll tear you down quick. But Aaron Rodgers, man, he couldn't keep up with Shedeur Sanders and make, he didn't throw as many big plays as Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders outplayed him basically when it came to making big plays. If Shedeur didn't throw those 2 interceptions, he would have just outplayed Aaron Rodgers. I can't give it to him all the way because of those 2 interceptions. But basically, Aaron Rodgers, he attempted 39 passes, only threw for 168 yards. That is awful. That is not good at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, Shedeur hit more big plays down the field than Aaron Rodgers did, with less attempts. Shedeur held his own, man, against what we all would call, or most of us would call, consider a first ballot Hall of Famer. That is a big time win, and I know Shedeur is feeling good about himself. That's probably what he's going to say. Man, our first time picking off Peyton Manning, I couldn't even, I wasn't even just talking about the interception. No, I intercepted Peyton Manning. I thought this man was Jesus on the football field, the way his ball sailed, and I could never intercept the football. Man, I just beat Aaron Rodgers with backups on the offensive lineman. On the offensive line,
That's how you feeling right now.
Receiver number 1. That's how you build your confidence and your ego, and you start that legend of yourself. Your swag. Yeah, feel yourself. You know what I mean?
Especially if they the reason. Listen, especially if that's the reason they don't make the playoffs, and it's like if they go out next week and lose to Baltimore, it'd be like, I'm the reason why Aaron Rodgers didn't make the playoffs.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's just. Man, you carry that that swag, that momentum, that confidence all the way into next season, and you become better, man. Clap it up for Shedeur Sanders, man. Shedeur Sanders, they got that job. They got the job done. It wasn't pretty. He didn't do anything special at the end of the game to win in the 4th quarter, but they just won the game, man. And something to build off of. But